Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say that as an American citizen, that it was an honor to have our first African-American president. I mean, it really was. It was due, but it was such a crying shame that they elected him. Why couldn't it have been someone like you or Dr. Ben Carson, who could have brought the blacks and the whites together instead of further dividing this country the way he has? Because it's a crying shame. It really is. The first African-American president to be elected, and it's somebody who was totally unworthy of that.
I appreciate your compliment, and you are absolutely right. Absolutely right. We are in the same canoe. What happens to you happens to me. What happens to me happens to you. And we all look alike. And with the 2 legs and 2 arms and the 2 eyes and 2 pair of lungs and 1 heart. We're all similar. For a shyster to divide us. And there are a bunch of shysters out there. And we let too many of them drive wedges between us. We've got to stop that. We're bigger than that. America's better than that. Yes, sir.
You running against Mary Lander or what next?
Some people have suggested that we're thinking about it, looking at our options. Washington, D.C. is cold, right? I lived in Washington years ago during the Nixon administration. I was fortunate and honored to help serve in that administration at that time. Richard Nixon is my favorite president. It may be time for me to go back to Washington. I'll have to see.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely taking some long underwear with me. Yes, sir.
Sir, in my opinion, the reason that you're here is because we are hungry for inspiration. And when I watched your YouTube video, it inspired me such genuine excitement that a politician could speak with such truth and love for his fellow man and his country. And far too infrequently in Washington and here, truth is not spoken.
Right.
And so you are inspirational. And I would implore you to go further than just the state level. Because there are so many of us out there that long to see inspiration and truth spoken from that pulpit. And so I appreciate you.
You all, I'm touched and humbled by your compliment. I promise you that I will try to live up to those words.
I was wondering if I could change tab a little bit, Senator. It always seems that President Obama, when the going gets tough, is out as blame President Bush. So it gets to my question. I just finished reading his biography, Decision Points, and he talked about Hurricane Katrina and how he implored Governor Blanco and Mayor Nagin to federalize and get troops into New Orleans so the people could be helped. So is the criticism of Bush's handling of Katrina true or false?
I think it's 80% false. I think that there was some delay, unnecessary delay at the federal level. But I believe that the state officials, particularly the mayor of New Orleans and the governor then, both Democrats, I believe that they were more responsible than that federal delay
That's true.
for the disaster that
That's
came.
true.
Thank you for remembering. Yes, ma'am.
I wanted you to remember extortion 17 when you talked about lies also, because I think that was one of the biggest lies of this administration. But I also wanted to say, when you talked about the canoe tipping over with the white and the black Romans together, as Star Parker would put it, Uncle Sam's plantation is getting pretty big. How do we fight that mentality of entitlement?
We absolutely have to draw a line. We have to show, and you're right, it's spreading. There are more illegitimate births, teen births, more people on welfare, more people on food stamps outside the black community. That is increasing. It is no longer a major, it's always been a major problem in our community. It is a major problem for America now. And we really have to draw a line and stop it. We have to get people back to work. We have to prepare them educationally. And then one of the things that we're doing in Louisiana is to really hammer on that education system. We're introducing trade schools into high schools. We're doing everything that we can to prepare people for work. And we're going to have to turn the spigot off for those people who are able-bodied persons, ready to work, able to work. We're going to have to train them and get them a job. In my community, look where I grew up, I live where my mom was born 104 years ago. We've been there 150 years. Not me. We've been there 150 years, and when I grew up there, you couldn't find a man between 7 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock in the evening, because every man was at work. You could, an 8-year-old, 9-year-old boy you might see, but every male adult was working. Now, if you drive down that same street, there are men, able-bodied, 30s, 40s, 50-year-olds, young kids, who are sitting out there barbecuing and drinking beer, panhandling, and waiting for a check. That is so sad to see my home neighborhood downgraded to that. It breaks my heart. So we've got to do something about it. We've got to get America back to work.
As a concerned parent for my child, I read an article a few weeks ago about how Obama announced that he is allying with Planned Parenthood, funding them, and yet he is shutting down programs such as the WIC program, which a lot of mothers are on nowadays. And he's also shutting down free meals programs in other states that provide free meals to underprivileged families. How is that going to be addressed?
I think it's part of what we were talking about. We've got to cut fraud and waste in those programs. There are some people who need to have them and deserve to have them. We've got to make sure that they get fed. And those persons who are able-bodied and are able to support themselves and to get to work and do not need that bridge over troubled water. And what we're talking about is really a bridge over troubled water, not an eternal highway for our existence. We have to cut the fraud and cut the able-bodied people out of that and make sure that those who deserve it get it. I think that Republicans can lead the way to doing exactly that, and that's what we're going to do.
Amen.
Thank you all very much. Thank you for letting me be here. It's great to be in New Hampshire.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
thank you very much. That is the program for today. I want to thank Citizens for a Strong New Hampshire, Mike Biondo, Derek Dufresne for putting this on, and of course, Howie Carr, still outside selling books. Go say hi.
Croc TV.